Versatile Mage. Chapter 511. For the sake of the kid. Forgemasters were usually lightning and fire magicians. Since Mo Fan had both fire and lightning, he was considered extremely suitable to become a forgemaster, but the art of forging was very profound. Not only would one need to learn lots of information about crafting and materials, including breaking them down, refining them, and then combining them, they would also need to choose their soul seeds wisely. Mo Fan was not into learning life skills and spending his time on random stuff. He preferred killing monsters and PvP battles. Although he would save lots of money by becoming a forgemaster himself, and he could even make a living doing it, it required a great investment of time. Mo Fan was already running short on time to cultivate. There was no way he would waste more time on other stuff. His priority now was to improve his 4 elements to the highest limit of the intermediate level before he started thinking about breaking through to the advanced level. After Mo Fan returned to school, he was granted the chance to cultivate inside the 3-step tower for a day. A single day was too short for Mo Fan. Even if he forcefully made his way to the 3rd floor where the energy was more abundant, it would only stabilize the foundation of his lightning element. It was nowhere near enough for him to break through. As such, Mo Fan started to challenge those ranked in the top 20. The students in the top 20 were allowed to cultivate in the 3-step tower for 3 days every month. Lately, he had spent most of his time on questing and exploring in the wild. His fighting capacity was fairly outstanding, but his cultivation was a lot weaker than those ranked higher on the leaderboard. After all, they were given 3 days to cultivate in the 3-step tower every month. Those few days alone were enough to make a huge difference. Mo Fan did not leave his house unless necessary for 2 months. Apart from meditating diligently, he also relied on the 3-step tower to force a breakthrough and finally managed to improve his shadow element nebula to the 2nd level. Mo Fan's next target was the lightning element, which had idled at the 2nd level for quite some time. He would find himself at a disadvantage against those whose 2 elements had both achieved the 3rd level. The good news was, over the past 2 months, the little flame bell did grow slightly. In the past, Mo Fan only needed to open his hand for the little creature to sleep on his palm. Now, he needed 2 hands to hold her. The little flame bell still looked like an adorable porcelain doll. If it weren't for the flames burning on her body, she would look no different than a little girl around the age of 2. The flame bell is growing quite fast. However, I'll be challenging the guys in the top 20 next month. She's still too weak against them, Mo Fan said to himself with a frown as he sat at the Klieski Hunter Agency's bar. Each of the students ranked in the top 20 was a maniac. Mo Fan already felt the great pressure when he fought against those in the top 50. As he prepared to challenge those in the top 20, he was hoping to have more safety measures, in addition to the black snake armor. The phases of a contracted beast are somewhat similar to a demon beast, which include the youth phase, the adult phase, and the peak phase. A creature with a weaker lineage will go through the phases much quicker. A creature like the one-eyed magic wolf only needs half a year to reach the adult phase from birth without the support of any item. It's even faster than an ordinary pet dog. Your flame bell's lineage is rather impressive. It has been 2 months, but she still hasn't reached the youth stage. She's still in her infant phase, despite the fact that she has already eaten lots of soul seed pieces. Ling informed him as she flipped through the pages of a book. Not even the youth stage. Mo Fan was left speechless. The growing pace of the creatures that sign a contract with summoners is affected by the supply of energy your nebula is providing. As such, the time it takes for her to grow is a lot shorter, added Ling. You should just tell me how long she will need to reach the youth stage. Mo Fan rested his chin on his hand and wryly glanced at the little flame bell running happily along the bar's table. The flame bell looked fairly plump, which was likely because she had been eating well for the past 2 months. She was almost like a little fireball, who would not feel any pain when falling to the ground. She could easily bounce half the distance she fell back into the air. Based on my calculations, it would normally take her 3 to 5 years to grow from the infant phase to the youth phase. Her pace of growth is very similar to that of humans. Ling raised her fingers. Alright, I guess I've pretty much adopted a daughter. I'll be an old man when she finally has some great achievements. You've been feeding her soul seed pieces, which should shorten the time it takes to a third of the normal duration. This means she will only need around 12 to 17 months to reach the youth phase. Her growing pace will be increased by another 3 times because of the energy from your summoning element. As a result, it should only take her 4 to 5 months to reach the youth phase, which means the shortest possible time for her to reach the youth phase is a month, or 3 months at the latest. Ling instantly broke down the information like a king of data. Mo Fan let out a relieved sigh. It was still acceptable after hearing the analysis. It would be troublesome if she needed 3 to 5 years to only reach the youth phase. Once she reaches the youth phase, you can start feeding her soul seeds, said Ling. Mo Fan was speechless. 20 million for a tin of milk powder. How could he possibly afford to look after her? Of course, a creature with stronger lineage needs a huge amount of resources, but the benefits you get in return are huge, too. I roughly estimate, based on the rate of growth from the amount of soul seed pieces you're feeding her, the flame bell should be as strong as the swift star wolf when she reaches the youth phase, added Ling. Warrior level at the youth phase. Mo Fan was stunned. That's right, her strength will be warrior level during her youth phase, Ling declared confidently. Mo Fan was speechless for quite some time. The swift star wolf was already in his adult phase, yet his strength was around the early warrior level stage, still some distance away from the stronger warrior level creatures. Despite that, even a fire magician in the top 100 would have trouble fighting against him alone. According to Ling, the flame bell's strength would be around the middle stage of the warrior level when she reached the youth phase, which meant that those ranked in the top 50 would not be able to defeat her, without him needing to do anything. Youth phase, that was only the youth phase. Doesn't that mean when the little flame bell reached the peak phase, or even the adult phase, even the commander level creatures would have to avoid her? Come, have some soul seed pieces. Your dad is loaded with money, you can have as many soul seed pieces as you want. Eat more. Mo Fan took out a handful of soul seed pieces from his pocket. The soul seed pieces were all that remained from those they had collected from the burning valley. Mo Fan could not wait to let the little flame bell eat them, even though each piece was more expensive than diamonds, just so she could reach the youth phase earlier. The little flame bell ate the soul seed pieces like chocolate. She bit half of each piece and munched it with puffed cheeks. Her eyes were squinted like fiery crescents as she indulged happily. Mo Fan fondled the little flame bell's head with a smile on his face. A rich merchant's mansion is haunted. The reward is 1 million. Are you interested? Yes. A group of herb vendors wants to get some herbs outside of the safe zone. They're asking for a magician to escort them. The reward is great, but they're only asking for a hunter master. Are you interested? Aren't you a hunter master? Accept it. Mo Fan was extremely pumped. As long as the quest gave money as a reward, he accepted all of them without hesitation, regardless of the difficulty. It was all for the sake of the kid. Chapter end. Please guys like, comment, share, and subscribe.